Hey guys, today we're going to talk about improving our kipping toes to bar. This is a challenging movement because it requires both midline strength, flexibility, and coordination. So we're going to break this down into two parts. The first part is going to be a progression towards the actual full movement. All right, that part will look familiar. But then we also have supplemental work we need to do to improve midline strength and flexibility. Let's take a look. So the first part of our drills are going to be based on the kipping swing. Before we do anything too advanced, we want to make sure that we're comfortable and strong just hanging. So the first drill is called a Scapula Pull Up. All I'm doing here is I'm going to sink down as far as I can, and without bending my elbows, I'm going to shrug back up. Down and up. I want to keep my feet together, my body nice and long. I want you to be able to work up to perform 5 sets of 10 reps with about 60 seconds rest in between. When you can do that, you can move to the next progression. Once you can perform these scapula pull-ups, the second progression is to do lat activation. So for this, it starts in the same way. All right? We're going to shrug up, maintain active shoulders, and then you're going to press back into the bar. All right? I want you to keep your feet together, eyes forward. Same thing. When you can perform 5 sets of 10 with 60 seconds rest in between, you'll move to the next step. For the third step in our progression, we're going to get a little more dynamic. This is a full swing. So we're now stronger in our shoulder. And this is going to work a little bit on opening the shoulder and mobility. So feet together, eyes forward. And we're going to shrug up and press into the bar, but fall through. All right? So now we have a full swing. 1 rep is forward and back. You should be able to stop yourself in the middle. Okay? Again, nice and controlled. We start with that same lat activation and push back through. Okay? That's the kipping swing. When you can perform 5 sets of 10 with 60 seconds rest, you go on to step 4. All right, now we're going to get closer to the real thing. We're going to use that kipping swing we've developed and bring a knee raise into the movement. So it looks like this. We start in that same position, right? Active shoulders, we initiate the swing, and then we start bringing our knees up. But if you notice, I keep that same control. I don't care how high your knees come, but I want to maintain control in the swing. Notice how I can just stop as I go, okay? So I want you to focus on trying to get 5 sets of 10 with 60 seconds rest in between. You can build up until you can do every rep with your knees getting above your hip height, okay? Once you can do that, then you can move on to the next step before we get to doing the full movement. All right, this is our final drill before the full toes to bar movement. It's going to start with that same kipping swing with the knee raised, except at the end, we're going to try to bring our toes up as close to the bar as we can. Here's what it looks like. Same start, press into the bar, knees come high, and then the feet come up. So if you see, there's a little flicking action of the feet, but I'm maintaining control of the swing just like the last drill. That's important. We want to have that nice control. As you get better, you'll be able to get the toes higher and higher until we can get our toes to the bar. So the last segment we discussed the progression for the kipping toes to bar. After each progression, wherever you're at, you're going to perform a series of drills. The first part is to get stronger in your midline. We're going to do something called tuck-ups or V-ups, depending on your strength. The goal is to work up to 3 sets of 15 reps with about 60 seconds rest in between. So starting from the easiest version, you sit in this extended position and you tuck up so you're just sitting on your butt. Okay? If that's easy, you go to an extended arm position, same thing. And if you can do that, you go to the hardest version, closest to a toes to bar, which is a V-up. All right? So work up, same thing, get that endurance and strength in the midline. Our second midline strengthening drill is also for the hip flexors, okay? So really isolating this part of our body. The further forward you put your hands, the harder it becomes. So start with your hands right behind your knees, lock your legs, and try to do 10 leg lifts without letting your heels touch the ground. If you can do that, you can move a little further forward. The goal here, 3 sets of 10 with about 60 seconds rest in between. The final supplemental drill you're going to perform is for that hamstring flexibility. If you think about a toes to bar, it's kind of like touching your toes. So if you're one of those athletes that has a problem performing that movement, we're going to do something called the Jefferson Curl. You're going to do 2 to 3 sets of 10 reps. The way this works, take some type of weight. I'm using a 15-pound bar, but you can hold a plate in your hand. The drill works by bringing your feet together and rolling yourself down slowly with that weight, rounding your upper back, keeping your legs straight, and get an active stretch at the bottom, and then rolling yourself back up. All right? So the goal here again is improve that flexibility, and it makes the movement to close your feet to your hands easier in the toes to bar. As you get better at this, if your weight starts running into the floor, you stand up on a platform so your hands and the weight can go past your toes. So that's it, guys. There's a lot of drills in there, but remember, we want to build a strong foundation before working to the full movement. So focus on that kipping swing, getting stronger in the midline, getting more flexible, and over time, you're going to get there. If you have any questions or comments, please write below. We'll see you next time.